from my
Okay.
computer.
Okay, so it is recording now.
There you
All
are.
right.
And it is a minute to the hour. So, Madam
Yes.
Program Quality Director, it's all yours.
Oh,
Hi, Emily.
hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for attending, giving up your part of your evening to hear a wonderful speaker, a wonderful presenter. She's a past district director, right? You're the last one,
The
Michelle,
last,
past district. Yeah.
no, I'm
And
the first one. I'm the first
the
district
first, oh,
director
district
there.
director. Thank you. Michelle has a long list of expertise in online attendance and online work in Toastmasters. So I will give it to Michelle to tell us more about it. So, I don't know, how do you do the applause?
Oh, we just go crazy. Some of us do it like that.
Okay, there you
And
go, Michelle.
yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you so much. This is so wonderful. And what I'm going to start first off, and I hope you don't mind, is I will just mute everybody initially just so that, oh no, you know what? I think we have enough time to very quickly go around the room. Yeah, I mean, we have an hour, and I think it would be great for everybody to know just very quickly where everybody else is from, and probably no need to mention all your clubs, because I know some of us are crazy like me, have 7 clubs, and I know Brian has 7 or 8, so we won't all name our clubs, but just where are you from? So can we just go around the room? And Brian, since you're smiling, why don't you start?
I will start. I'm from Victoria, Canada, just a hop, skip, and a jump away from the Olympic Mountains. And on a clear day, I can see them. More
Nice.
than,
Okay. Thank you, Brian. And Brian is also a remote coach for a District 7 club. He's coaching Oregon communicators remotely from
Wow.
British Columbia. He is coaching them in Eastern Oregon, and we're very excited. Yes. So moving on, who wants to introduce himself or herself next? Maybe Tamsing, would you like to just tell us very briefly again, because we have some new people here.
Yes, my name is Tamsin Corbin. I'm from Tualatin, Oregon, and I am the D7 Education Coordinator.
Nice. Now I know who I pester instead of instead of Emily whenever I have suggestions about education and training. Nice to meet you, Tamsin.
Nice.
And is that K I might mispronounce it. So Kate, Kate Crouch. Could you introduce yourself? Okay, I think she needs to be unmuted. There you are.
Okay, my name is Karen Crouch, and I'm actually living in Lakeside, Oregon, but my club is a corporate club in San Diego, District 5.
Nice.
And I was, yeah.
Karen.
I was trying to get some information on the District 7 website, and I saw this webinar, and it intrigued me. So.
Awesome. And you probably noticed your name is now Karen on the screen instead of just K.
Yeah.
I just quickly changed that. Yeah. So who wants to, was it Emmy? Did you say Emmy for Pariani? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Hemi Periani. I'm
There
Hemi
you are.
Periani. I live in Portland, Oregon. I joined Toastmasters initially 1999, but I dropped, and then things changed. But I went back, and last few years, 5-6 years, I am part of Creekside Toastmasters.
Okay. And so you are District 7. That is
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. Because I was a bit worried that, hey, we might throw a party and everybody else from across the world comes and we may not have District 7, but yay, good. We have Emmy, and now you see her name is now Emmy. I hope I spelled that correctly. Who wants to come on next? We have
Michelle, it's Emmy, H-E-M-I.
Emmy.
Oh,
Emmy.
H-E?
M-I, yes.
Okay. Sorry about that, and thanks. So H-E-M-I.
Just like
like
the
that?
engine, Michelle, just like the engine.
Yay, I was going to say your dad must have loved big, powerful motors, huh? Heavy motors, yeah. Okay. And so who else? Oh, Gina, why don't you, Gina, I think,
Can
yeah,
you,
Jean,
can you hear me?
loud and clear.
All right. My name is Gina Rohn. I'm joining you from Lakeview, Oregon, which is south central Oregon, the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I am part of, oh, there's some feedback, isn't there? I'm part of Smooth Talkers Toastmasters, which is a prison club, and figured I'd join you today. I'm interested in finding a club that I can join remotely because the next club closest to me is about 2.5 to 3 hours away. So I'm sitting here high and dry by myself. So it's of interest to me to see what this new opportunity has to offer.
Beautiful, Gina. You know, if nothing else came out of this webinar, I am happy. I am happy. You just warmed my heart because we are coaching some struggling clubs, very small but mighty and energetic. They have online attendance. I will connect with you after this webinar. If you will be kind enough, if you can type your email address in the chat, then I will connect with you, or I will also post it later on. But there are clubs that would love to have new members.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at Lapine, so we can talk about that.
Brian, did you hear that? Brian and I are coaching Lapine.
Awesome.
So who else have we not invited on to tell us? I think, yes, Dawn. I think, Dawn, we haven't heard from you yet officially yet.
Yeah, hi, I'm Don. I live, actually, I only live about a mile away from Michelle here in Sutherland, Oregon. So she hasn't, I was with Toastmasters for 3 years, and then I've been out for about 1.5 years. So she is encouraging me to get back involved, and so here I am.
You bet. And he's gotten involved with the Vigils in the last, I think, week or so. He has been to 4 online meetings, and
This is our fourth, our fourth
awesome.
encounter.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Dawn. And let me see if we have missed anybody else.
Me, I forgot. My name is Emily Taylor.
yes.
I'm from District 7. I'm part of the trio as the program quality director. I'm just really happy to have you here, Michelle, doing this online training. Okay, back to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I hope that we have covered everyone. If not, then just add your name later on in the chat or just wave at me. But now I would like to switch to a PowerPoint. I know that's my PowerPoint, but I'll try to make this as brief as possible. And what I'd like to do is spend maybe 25 to 30 minutes, maybe even less. Maybe if I can talk a little faster, maybe just go for about 20 minutes with a PowerPoint, maybe just hold your questions, and then after that 20 minutes or 25, hopefully not beyond 25, then we will have just basically Q&A, concerns, clarifications, challenges, whatever. So for now, I would like to switch over to my brief PowerPoint. I emphasizing the word brief and really intending to have it brief. Let me share my screen. And this is one of the many, many beautiful things about Zoom, because it is so easy to have presentations. So hopefully now you are seeing my first slide, which says online attendance. Why, what, and how. And that's really what I'd like to do. Just cover briefly the why, the what, and the how. And then we'll have Q&A. In the meantime, though, I hear somebody typing. So if you are not yet muted, would you be kind enough to mute yourselves, because I cannot see right now because of the slides. Thank you. Whoever that was, I think that person has now muted himself or herself. Thank you. So why is it that we even care about online attendance? In the first place, we are supposed to be Toastmasters, right? Why do we care? Why do we even bother? Well, let me share with you some of the benefits for clubs. And this is not something I invented. I conducted a survey about online attendance. I posted it on the Toastmasters International Facebook page. And I asked people to say what do they think are the benefits for clubs? And these were the top 7. There were several answers. I tried to consolidate them. One is that it opens membership to a wider demographic. As some of us in this room has already seen, we're crossing borders, not just states, but country borders. Brian is from Canada, and Carrie is just joining us from Canada as well. So it offers membership to people whom you would probably never have met before. Much broader demographic. It introduces new concepts and skills. Just Zoom. Every single time I attend a meeting, I'm learning new things with Zoom. And there's so much more. So concepts and skills that we would never even have dreamed of learning in Toastmasters, we learn because of online attendance. And it's an additional tool in our club toolbox, which surprisingly doesn't just help the club. Members can also use these skills elsewhere. They use it in their business, in their communities. I use Zoom for my family reunions. So it adds that additional tool. It makes club meetings more robust and fun. I was really hoping that Laurelie Norris could be here, because Yakina Toastmasters is an amazing illustration of just having so much more fun. And later on, I'll show you a picture of a typical Yakina Toastmasters meeting. I love this next one. It increases membership retention. Because a lot of times people leave because they can no longer attend meetings. Well, now, having the online attendance, they can continue to attend. It helps.
Michelle,
Yes.
we're not seeing the other slides.
Oh, seriously? Oh, I am so sorry. What slide are you seeing right
The
now?
first one, the online attendance, the why, what, and how.
Oh,
So
that is so fun. Okay. So thank you so much.
yes.
I would have just gone on, and you would have been wondering, what is she talking about?
Oh,
So
there
now,
you go. Yes, thank you.
that was great.
I'll mute myself
Thank
now.
you so much. Thank you. And anytime that, sometimes because I'm using a Mac without an external mouse, sometimes my clicking does not really register. So just please holler if I'm talking about something that's not on the screen. So I'm down to the 6th one, which it helps the club to recruit new members. And finally, there's greater diversity, there's greater exposure and expertise. When Pathways was rolling out, guess what? Many clubs were able to bring in experts. My best example, because it's the farthest, is New Zealand. A New Zealand club invited an expert from London. So she zoomed in and taught them about pathways. Talking about Julie Curtis going down to Magda Van Ruyen's club in New Zealand. So there's so much benefit for the club. But what about for the members? And by now, you should hopefully be seeing the slide for the members. Are you seeing that? For members? Did it move over to that slide? The why? Okay, so these are some of the things that people listed as the benefit for themselves. People said that members who have moved away can still attend. And people in remote areas can join Toastmasters. This one is a really big one. We have people from in countries that don't even have Toastmasters. They're able to join because of online attendance. And members can attend even when they're sick, which is, again, a really big plus, especially as people, people sometimes have health issues. They can still attend, even if they're sick. And the club atmosphere is there. It comes to you rather than you going to the club. And I know there's nothing that beats the warm handshake and the hug, but the smile is sometimes so beautiful online. And you can go out of town without missing meetings. Learn more about listening and paying attention. See, some people say, well, how are we going to know if people are paying attention? Well, you can right now, because of the slides, you can't see. But without the slides, you can see other people in the room, in the gallery view, and you can see if they're paying attention or not. So it's a great experience for listening and paying attention. And people with mobility challenges can attend. They don't have to worry if nobody can drive them, if their wheelchair broke down. They can still attend a meeting. Now, this is an important slide, so I need to know, are you seeing the what of online attendance?
Yes,
Are you seeing
we
this?
are.
Okay, wonderful. And I wanted to emphasize that this goes back to 2015. Unfortunately, it wasn't too publicized, but back in 2015, the Toastmasters International Board approved having an online attendance option. Now, note, very important, in red, in burgundy, online attendance clubs with the online attendance option are regular clubs. They are not online clubs. They are part of the district, and they are governed by policy 2.0 and protocol 2. And don't worry, we're not going to go into all those details, but you know where to click if you want more details. Policy 2.0 and protocol 2.0. Now, I mentioned 100% online club. This is a 100% online club. I hope you're seeing it on the screen right now. Everybody is online. There's nobody in the room. There's no room. In fact, everybody is online. That is a 100% online club versus an on-site club with very sophisticated setup. You know, if you recognize, if you're from District 7, some of you might recognize the lady standing up is Kathleen Tully. She was doing she was, I think, giving a speech at the Toast of Old Town, which
No,
is, are you seeing it or not?
yes,
Okay.
we are.
Okay, great. So she was giving this at a blended club or an on-site club with online attendance, but this has a very sophisticated setup. As you can see, they've got a nice big screen, they've got a camera, I see this camera up here, and they've got the laptop. So you might be thinking, well, my club doesn't have that, we don't even have that big a room. No worries. See the next example. An on-site club with simple setup. See, and please bear, this was an old picture from a year ago. We've already changed our, this is the old branding on the lectern, the old Toastmasters brand. But look at that. This one is in the room. Some of you might recognize Area 41 Director Deb Berger. She is standing in a room at ODAT, but the rest of us, aha, there's Brian. Oh, sorry. Let me go back to that. The rest of us are in our own homes. And this was so much fun. Kate Arnold, who's also a member of this club, I think her leg broke, or she had an ankle issue. So she was at home, but she's also attending. I think this was the meeting where she actually attended later on with her cat joining in. So that was awesome. Yakina Toastmasters is another club that I love, and their online attendance setup is a little bit of a medium, you might say, because they do have a screen, plus they have the device. But it's so cool, it's so informal, see? So they, as you can see, Julie from London, and I think Ruth is, let me see, Ruth is from the East Coast, if I'm not mistaken. So there you are. These are examples of clubs with online attendance. Now, I just wanted to flash this, but we're not going to read this. This was that policy statement of Toastmasters International. Oh my gosh, almost 3.5 years ago. This was their policy statement. So they realized that there was a need to be flexible. The policies, again, don't worry too much about it. I will give everybody a copy of the slides, but I just wanted to emphasize here that you, if you're the club president or whatever your role is, you just can't suddenly say, okay, tomorrow we're going to have an online. There needs to be some consultation with the club, have a vote to approve the allowance of online attendance, then make sure you update your addendum of standard club options on Club Central so that people can find you. And that's awesome, because I don't know if you know this, but Toastmasters International now has the option to find clubs with online attendance. And of course, you need to determine the platform that you want to be using. Most clubs use Zoom, but you know, there's others. There's Skype, there's WebEx, there's Ring Central, there's One Central, there's One Box, there's so many other things. Personally, if you ask me, and if you ask Brian, we'd go Zoom. And then make everybody aware that there is such an option available, so that if they are running late for a meeting, or if they're considering moving away, they can still attend. Now, these are the FAQs. Again, we will not click through all of that, but I wanted to let you know that if you want more detail, you can go to the Toastmasters International website, look for the online attendance FAQ. And there's so many. This one, I captured this a year ago. Now there's even more FAQs added. So you can find out a lot of answers. So what is it about online attendance that you need to know about? Well, there's terminology. Some people call it virtual. Some people call it remote. Some people call it internet. That will really date you if you say, oh, I'm attending through the internet. Some people call it distance. People call it brick and click. I personally like to call it blended. Some people like to call it hybrid. Hybrid, I think of a Toyota Prius, so sorry. But blended, hybrid, or Toastmasters calls it on-site clubs with online attendance, but that's so long. What are some of the things you need to consider? Well, of course, the price, affordability. Free is good for a start. Sorry. The free online platforms usually have limitations, but there are ways around it. For instance, with District 7, sorry for people from other districts, sorry, but for District 7 actually has 2 Zoom accounts that clubs can use. We can talk about that more for the District 7 members. And of course, stability of the platform. Again, we have tested Zoom is the most stable and it requires the lowest bandwidth. I just attended an entire hour's meeting at noon today on my cell phone and everything was fine. Is there a video recording capability? Is there an audio recording capability? Is there desktop sharing? Like now, if your platform doesn't have this, then you can't do what I'm doing right now, which is sharing my slides. And is there cloud storage, which Emmy is doing right now, and I'm recording on my computer. So this would be some of the questions you would ask yourself. Again, this is not me saying it. I posted a survey, again, on my favorite go-to, the official Toastmasters Facebook group, and I asked them, what online platform do you like? Or what have you heard about? And Zoom just literally zoomed ahead of the others. You can see it goes all the way there, and then the rest were just, WebEx is like way down there. So obviously Zoom is the most popular platform, but I have no vested interest in Zoom. I don't get commission, so you can use whatever account or whatever you would like. Now, how do you set up? As I showed in the pictures, it can just be a simple smartphone or a simple laptop. That would work. Like at noon today, that was all we had. You can have a webcam and a smartphone. Or, of course, you can have all the sophisticated condenser microphone and external webcam and all that. But no worries, that is not necessary. So the setup would be driven by what the club can afford and what the club is willing to go through, because the more complicated the setup, the longer the setup would take. So there's a few other things before I wrap up for Q&A. Remember that you need to involve the entire club in the decision making. Don't just because you're the main officer, don't do a lone ranger. You need to involve the entire club. And follow TI procedures and guidelines, which is, as I mentioned earlier, you need to have a vote. It can just be an unofficial, small little 1 or 2 minute discussion during your club business meeting, but you need to have a vote so that the club members know that this is what the club wants to do, and you hear objections. Some people may say, well, I don't want my speeches to be heard all over the place. Well, that's fine, because it doesn't have to be. The recordings can just be shared with the club members. Or some people may even say, I don't want it recorded. Well, that's fine too. Their speeches don't have to be recorded. And you have to determine what are the online attendance policies for your club. For instance, is it that they have to notify beforehand, or can they just click in that day? And again, the simpler is usually the better. In our case, all our online attendance clubs, we don't say that, okay, you have to give prior permission. Just be there, just show up. Whether you're showing up physically or you're showing up virtually, you're showing up. And you need to designate a point person for online attendees, because it can get lonesome. If you attend online and nobody's watching out and nobody even says hi to you, it gets really sad. So you need to designate a point person. So far, in most cases, if I'm a member of a club that is online attendance, I just take that role on myself because I'm more familiar. I can multitask. I can look at the chat, look at the incoming, and still participate. But it usually helps if you designate somebody, sergeant at arms maybe, or just a logistics person, or whoever it can be a rotated function every meeting. And agree on a backup person for redundancy, just like today. This is a webinar, it's not a meeting, but we have Emmy and we have myself. So I'm co-host for her. Reach out and inform former members. You will be surprised at how former members might decide to join or rejoin when they know that there's online attendance. And of course, let guests know. I wish Laura Lee were here because she could share an example wherein they had a prospect who had come and he had wanted to join Toastmasters for a long time, but he was a firefighter. So he was thinking, probably, what's the point? Suddenly there's a fire in Denver or wherever, I will miss the meeting. When he found out that there was online attendance, he signed up, I think, the following week or that very week. So that's an awesome come on for prospects. And another thing which you have to remember is update your club website, Facebook page, everything. Update it, put it all over, not just one page. Put it on the home page, the how-to page, the where page, the agenda page, put it all over. Announce it on the district Facebook group. And if your district has a newsletter, like we have District 7, we have Voices, post it there. Send a news story to the print media, the real media. I mean, not the real media, not Toastmasters, but the local media. Send a story. It is a story because people will be amazed that Toastmasters has online attendance. We didn't know that. If you can, get interviewed on radio. Can you imagine that? Get interviewed on radio, talk about your club, and always make sure you recognize online attendees at club meetings. Establish protocols for tech glitches. It will happen. There's no avoiding it. Murphy is alive and well. So establish some protocols, what you will do if suddenly the signals drop, what are you going to do? And most important, have fun while learning. It's not drudge. It's something beautiful. You're learning, you're having fun. And see, like right now, I was trying to click and I couldn't, So I just had an example of some tech glitch. Anyway, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I will now take questions. And I think, yay, we met it. About 21 minutes. Perfect. Great. So we have quite some time for either questions, comments, clarifications, testimonials. And I'm going to switch to gallery view so I can see everyone. There you are. Oh, Crystal is here. There you are. See, this is an example. We didn't know that Crystal had come on. So perhaps for now, I will experiment. I will unmute all. If we don't have too much noise, then we will just keep everybody unmuted.
Yes, just close up. Good. Thank you so much.
Okay. It is a bit, somebody has, it's echoing. Let me see. Let me test this. Okay, so there's an echo. Wonder who that is. Okay, I will just have, sorry, I just had to mute everyone. I am sorry, there was a really bad echo. So I wanted Oh, see, I just forgot. I was going to have a little poll, but oh well. Let me just use this to demonstrate the use of polls, but I guess this is after the fact. Can you see that? And can you see the poll right now? Have you attended a Toastmasters club? Do you see that? Oh, yay, they're seeing it because somebody's answering.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. So this is, I was going to ask this as the start of the meeting, but hey, I got so excited with people coming in from different parts of the world that I forgot to ask this question. But anyway, we're seeing people are answering. See how awesome it is if you have your club meeting and you can have elections or whatever decisions, you can have a poll like now. So we have 6 of 8. And I believe somebody cannot answer. If you're on the phone, it might not be possible to answer. So I think that might be it, because we're now at 49 seconds. So we will end the poll because I think everybody who can answer has answered.
Hey,
And
it's Crystal, and I actually answered on my phone, so it worked perfectly. It was gorgeous.
Awesome. So let me see. Are you seeing the results now? Do you see the
I
results?
did, and I closed them.
Okay.
I closed them on my phone, but I can view them again.
Wonderful. Are the others seeing the results? Are you seeing there's 71% and 29%? Awesome. That was just, I really wanted to ask that earlier, but I forgot. But now you just had a demonstration of that. That's awesome. I had a couple of other polls actually. Let me go to a couple of other polls, which is so fun because I think, because I'm not logged in as myself, I think the other polls disappeared, but not a biggie. I think it's more important that we just have questions from the attendees. And I apologize, my Saint Bernard, I think, wants to go out. So, hi, baby. So let me try again and unmute. Just raise your hand if you have a question, or perhaps, why don't I do this like this? Brian, I'm going to put you on the spot because I need to take my Saint Bernard out. I'm going to unmute you, and then I'm just
my problem is I'm in a noisy place.
Yeah. Brian, can you just share your own experience with online attendance? Just very briefly, a minute or so. I'm going to open the door and let my Saint Bernard out.
Okay. I hope you can hear me over the noise of this bus that I'm on. But I've been involved in, first of all, go way back. I've been involved in the internet and whatever you call it now, cloud, going back for over nearly 50 years now. And when I discovered that Toastmasters, I thought it should be online. I advocated a speech in 2008 that Toastmasters should allow people to attend online. So I heard about it from one of my online friends, and she brought me into what was Firesearch at the time, before we even started a meeting of any kind. And it wasn't, it was a study group that we were involved in. So, and that was just purely online. And I was, I'm with Royal Roads, and Royal Roads was one of the first clubs that actually jumped in and started online meetings. And we struggled for 6 months. We struggled. We didn't understand the equipment we had. We had a very slow platform that we were on until we discovered Zoom. And then we had to learn that too. And we worked with a free copy of Zoom that allowed you to go 40 minutes. However, you can turn around and take a 5-minute break, and then everybody sign back into the same meeting, and you're back on for another 40 minutes, which covers most meetings, actually. So that's the way for you to start in your clubs, by doing that. And I'm talking to you from a smartphone, although my battery is running down very fast. That's one of the things. But
Brian, something happened. You just suddenly disappeared. We were hearing you loud and clear, and then your audio suddenly vanished. But while Brian's audio is off, I just wanted to thank him, first of all, for sharing that experience with the starting, and also explaining what I wanted to say earlier about their ways of just starting for free. The free Zoom account works for 40 minutes, but like you said, you can take a break and then you can come back. So you don't ever have to pay anything. Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you. And I think I have a question from the chat. Karen is asking, do you have online attendees as officers? Absolutely. Absolutely. And officers, but also, and I know this blows some people's minds, the Toastmaster. You can be the Toastmaster as an online attendee. And the only thing you miss is you don't have the actual physical handshake. But other than that, you do everything. You introduce the speaker and then you lead in the applause. Let's welcome Brian, and you applaud. And sometimes we even have fun and we shake our So you can do almost anything except for the actual hug and the actual handshake. You can do what people in the room can do. And plus, of course, you never catch cold, or you never have to worry about getting whatever germs others may have when they sneeze or whatever. So let me see if I have any other question from anybody on the call or on the meeting. Just unmute yourself if you have a question. Or raise your hand if you don't know how to unmute yourself, and I will. Dawn, did you want to say something or have I think, Dawn, you're speaking, but you're muted, so I'm just unmuting you right now. Although you've become quite an expert. I think you're also trying to unmute yourself, right? Or not? You're talking. Wait. There you are.
There we go.
See, what we were doing, Don and I, we were toggling, because he knows, he's learned, he's a really fast learner, so he knows how to mute and unmute himself. But I was trying to do that for him, so I would unmute him, but he was also trying to unmute himself, so we were toggling each other. So there you are, Don. You were
stepping on each other's toes, so to speak.
Exactly.
So when they come online, I noticed a lot of people are not on the video. Well, if you're in a meeting, most people would be on video, right? I mean, if you're going to participate in a meeting, correct?
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean in an actual Toastmaster meeting.
Yes, we normally request in a meeting, the sergeant at arms or the logistics person or the tech master. Different clubs have different names. They normally have certain, not rules, but kind of guidelines, and one of them is when you are not speaking, please remember to mute yourself, and we explain where that is, lower left corner. And please, if you can, unless you're eating or doing something, please show yourself on video, because like you said, and thank you, Dawn, for bringing that up, it's kind of sad if you're talking, you're giving a speech, and all you see are black screens. So as a general rule, we encourage people during online meetings to show themselves on video. That's why you noticed before I left, I said, excuse me, I need to take my dogs out. And in fact, I handed control over to Brian. So he entertained you with his experience with Royal Roads. Great point, Don. That's really a great point. Thank you.
That's really nice when you said that, Michelle, because that's like, you don't leave the podium unattended. You always have someone. Yeah. So it's the same concept.
Exactly. And it's so amazing how the concepts just get converted into different things. And in fact, I was just sharing with Feather Tongues, another very small but very excited club that we're coaching online, myself and Arlene. Oh, Arlene is a lovely lady from Lexington. She couldn't come in because she's an early riser. Lexington, Kentucky, I think they're about 10 p.m. 7 p.m. I think is 10 p.m. or something. She couldn't come. But we're coaching feather tongues. And one of the things we try to do, because so many of them are ex-military or National Guard, we use military analogy. So we say it's like the captain. You never leave the command center, right? You're always there. You make sure that there is somebody in charge. And we do that. We even have Kevin is the president of Feather Tongues, and he's the president that introduces himself as the Toastmaster. So yes, it's actually very entertaining. I think Don can speak to that because he has been hooked, right, Don? I cannot believe it. I'm the one slowing him down. Like, okay, Don, we have to see which group you're going to join. And he's like, well, I can join any of them. Oh, he is hooked. Yeah. So Karen, I think, did you say you're down in San Diego, but you're originally from Oregon, or I got my information all mixed up? Karen, could you unmute yourself down below on the lower left corner? We'll get you to practice. There you are. See how easy it is.
All right. So I'm a member of a corporate club in San Diego in District 5, and I recently moved to Oregon on the coast. It's called Lakeside. And I've been participating in our group's meetings, but I can't get on the screen. But we have a lot of equipment available to the group, so I can participate in the meeting by watching, so I can evaluate people, but I have to give them a written evaluation. So the reason I was asking about the officers is I'm also the Vice President of Education, and we're supposed to go through our COT training. And I can't go back to District 5 just at the drop of the hat to get trained. So that's why I was on District 7's website.
Oh, perfect. I hope you can drive up to Wilsonville. Drive up or drive down. I'm not sure the geography of where you're located.
It's a couple hours away.
Yeah, but we are having a fabulous TLI, Toastmasters Leadership Institute, this Saturday, no less than the past international president, Pat Johnson, is going to be there. Plus, we have is he the regional advisor, Emmy?
The regional advisor, yes.
Yes, Todd Henry. So it's going to be amazing. I was planning to be lazy this Saturday, but when I looked at the lineup, I'm like, no way. 3 hours, but I'm going to make that drive. So yes, the Toastmasters International, unfortunately, has not yet allowed or authorized people to attend club officer training for credit online. I emphasize the word for credit, because for learning, oh, absolutely, attend as often as you want. But for credit, it has to be physical face and sign on the physical form. Right, Emmy? She's the program quality director, so she knows all about it.
Of course, there are sometimes extenuating circumstances, but yes, generally, yeah, you need to.
The cool thing, though, is that some districts have already pioneered doing the opposite, wherein the trainers can be remote. Where's Brian? I think his phone battery died. He was warning us that his battery was running low. But District 21, Carrie, I think you're also District 21, right? British Columbia. District 21 allows trainers, the speakers, the presenters, to conduct the officers' training remotely. I did training for District 21, that's British Columbia, and I was doing it not from Oregon, much farther. I was doing it from the Philippines. And they got credit for that. I didn't get credit as an officer attending because I was remote and they wanted to honor the rule, but the participants got credit for it. So slowly but surely the Toastmasters world is changing. And I'd like to mention again that coaching. Coaching is so important in terms of remote attendance, because usually it's a chicken or egg situation. The clubs that are struggling more often than not are in remote areas where they can't have coaches because they're in remote areas. So it's like which comes first, the chicken or the egg situation. So they get smaller and smaller and they can't have help. So again, it was District 21. Shout out to Canada. They had a club that was having issues. So they had a remote coach, Julie from London, and the club ended as President's Distinguished, I believe. So we here in District 7, we also now have remote coaches. So that's a tool that you can use, and it's a win-win because there are some Toastmasters who would love to coach, but they can't drive 150 miles every time to coach a club. The time, the gas, the effort, they're willing to coach though. So if your club adds online attendance, then you can have more opportunities for coaching because you can bring in coaches remotely. You can have somebody from Portland coaching somebody down in Medford, or you can have even somebody from outside the district. There is no restriction on that. Although, of course, I know the district leaders would prefer to have coaches from within the district, but it's always a win-win. If the club grows and is helped by a coach, like in this case, Arlene is coaching Feather Tongues, and she is in Lexington, Kentucky. She's a division director out there, but she's helping Feather Tongues. So it's a win for her. It's also a win for the club, and it's a win for the area and the district. There, I get off my soapbox. You know how much you can probably see how much I love online attendance. Anything else that we have 15 more minutes left? Is there anything else? Questions, clarifications? What if this? How about this? You know, anything. There's no question that can't be asked. I may not be able to answer all of them, but you can ask any of them.
This is not a question. This is just sharing. We had a webinar on membership engagement. I think it was last month. We had a whole group. We had a club. 8 or 9 of them were in a room, and they converted their Thursday meeting into this attending a webinar from 7 to 8. And it was wonderful to see club members just participating. And I think that we probably will be seeing more of that as, you know, we're going into the future of online technology, right, Michelle?
Yeah, that's a great point. And thank you for bringing that up, Emmy, because I just remembered another wonderful opportunity for clubs with online attendance. They can have joint meetings, but they don't have to all get into their cars and agree on one venue. One club can attend the other club's meeting online. In fact, I will post it when we're ready for it. But Royal Roads up in British Columbia, Brian has already indicated that he is going to persuade or suggest to his club mates to attend the Oregon Communicators meeting sometime in the next few weeks, because Oregon Communicators meets at the exact same time as Royal Roads. So Brian has to flip a coin between which club he'll attend, but he's thinking of suggesting that they attend a joint meeting. So that's going to be fun. And that's another way, remember I said earlier, where we are adding to our toolbox. Can you imagine having joint meetings? We can have 2 or 3 clubs all attending one venue, but remotely. Yeah. And my dog suddenly came in again. Let me just very quickly close the door. And if you noticed when I'm toggling myself, how funny. Okay, if you notice when I stood up, I just quickly blanked myself. That's another etiquette thing, which is so easy once you're used to it. You just click so that, you know, you want to scratch your nose, you want to fix your headset, anything. You just very quickly turn off your video so that you're not all visible there. And of course, the audio, it's always good to have the audio off unless you're speaking, just because you know, sometimes we're typing. Let me show you how loud typing can sound, you know. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just ordinary typing, but it can sound really distracting. So normally it's a good idea to mute. The other thing that I often get asked is, how do you do club business? For example, the votes. How do you have people vote? Well, if your club is the kind where you have the little secret ballots, I don't know how many clubs do that, but if you still use the secret ballots, you don't just raise your hand, then you can actually have the option on the chat to have the person, just one person receiving the votes. You can click right now. Okay, how many, if you can see, this is an example of posting to all. See, so you all see it. If you're looking at your chat, you will see a little, like a notification pop up, and I just type, this is an example of posting to all. Now I am, let's see if you know. Okay, now I only sent to one person. Just wave if you know that you received. There, she smiled. See, so it's so cool. And sometimes I know we overuse this, and we remind people not to overuse it, but sometimes you can see people busy chatting even if you can't read what they're saying, because you can see their eyes and you can see they're not totally paying attention. So let's not over abuse this, but it is so handy. You know, this is the counterpart of passing little notes like, hey, are you going to announce? You know, like Karen, you're the VPE, you remember, oh, I get to remind the president. So you pass a little note, right? And it gets passed on and everybody's looking, what is she passing? Well, in online, you can just very quietly type a note just to the president. And, the president can see it if he or she is online as well. So there's so many things that you can do online. And we have 10 more minutes, so let me see if there's any other, either a testimonial or Carrie. I think Carrie wants to say something or a question. Yes.
Yeah, I have a question. If you have one camera in your club and you have some people online and some people at your club meeting, would you focus the camera on the whole club or just the chair lectern part?
That's an excellent question. Let me see if I can show. I just had a beautiful example of that the other day at one club. Let me see if I have it. I don't know if this is going to be the right one. It's so small, but let me see. It might not be the picture I wanted to show. Nah, sorry, wrong screen. Okay, so if you saw any secret messages there with my daughter and whatever, I'm sure it was too fast for you to see. But I wanted to show you a picture to answer your question. Carrie's question was, if you have only one camera in the room, where do you focus it? Do you focus it on the lectern, or do you focus on the people? Actually, it's both. What you do is you pull for example, the laptop, you pull it back just enough so that you get both the lectern and everyone. And I really wanted to show because it was so beautifully arranged. I take my hat off to Jim Garrard. He's the VPE of Trans Toasters. He at first, and he knows this and we laugh about this, the first few meetings, the screen would sometimes flip over, which probably meant the phone got flipped around. So we would see the ceiling as the floor or vice versa. But now he has it so perfect. He pulls the laptop back just so that you see everybody. So it kind of looks, I wanted to show that to you, but and now I know why I couldn't show it. I recorded this meeting, the noon meeting, on my phone because I was at Costco parking lot. That's why I couldn't find it on my computer. Duh. So I hope that answers your question. You don't keep on moving it around. And that's why, in fact, if I may go back to that slide earlier where I talked about having too many things in the room is actually counterproductive. There's one club in the Philippines. They have a very technical person, and so he loves to have all of his gadgets, gizmos. He has his condenser microphone. He has his external high fidelity webcam. He has his iPhone. He has like 3 or 4 or 5 different gadgets. Well, what happens is if they forget to flip the other one around, then somebody's talking to a wall. But with just one device in the room, and I really wanted to show Trans Toasters. I asked their permission at lunch today, and they said, sure. Well, yeah, but it's on my phone. So just one device captures everything and everyone. And there's another unintended beautiful consequence. One of our members is a really soft-spoken gentleman. He speaks so softly. It's like this in the past. Even when we were in the same room, we could hardly hear him. Well, guess what? Now he stands at the front of the room, and here I am listening to him through the computer. I hear him. He just automatically started to pitch and project his voice better. And I noted it. I said, Steve, did you realize that I heard every single word you said? And it was beautiful. And he was like, so, I mean, nobody would have thought that online attendance would teach people to project their voices better, right? I mean, that was never part of the benefits mentioned, but we are seeing it. A really long answer to your question, Carrie, but I wanted to share those little things that grow from online attendance. So I hope I've inspired you to become an online attendance member. Oh, I think you already said you wanted to join. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. The challenge we have is many of our meetings we set up U-shaped. We're not on a board table. And so that makes it challenging to get the full room because it could be 8 or 10 feet wide. Mm-hmm. And that's in length as well. So it's a pretty big area. Mm-hmm. But thanks for the advice that you've given, though. Appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. It's my pleasure. And if you want, I can always be the tester. I mean, I can be I was going to say the dummy on the screen. I can be your Zoom tester. I can attend your meeting, and so I can tell you, okay, move it a bit. I did that with a club in Jerusalem. Oh, it was fun because they were not only new members except for the club founder, but they were also in what you call an undistricted club. So they were not part of a district yet because Jerusalem doesn't have a district yet. So they just felt, they were like, wow, there's a big world of Toastmasters. They just got so excited. And actually, I'm so thrilled. All of them are in Pathways now. Yeah, they all jumped into Pathways because through online attendance as well. I shared Pathways with them through online attendance. It's never ends. There's so many advantages. Gina has started screen sharing. Did you want to do that, Gina?
No, I'm just clicking around and I'm doing dumb things right here. This is not what I want to do.
You know how to click because I can't change it. You will have to be the one to take it off. What you do is you go down to the share. It's probably red right now for you, down the lowest part of your screen. And then lower than that, there you are. Yay! See, I love this because we're showing how easy it is. Are you seeing that, guys? How easy it is. It's so intuitive.
I just can't figure out how to show myself on here because you can't see me, can you?
Okay, I will send you a request for you to start your video. And you should have received that by now. If you just click on yes.
There we go. Hey, I have to fix my hair.
I mean, this is so amazing. Don't you see how beautiful it is? It's like, wow. You know, it can be from one end, the other end, the host can say request that you start your video. So even if your new guest, for example, knows absolutely nothing about attending, they can just click on that because it pops up on their screen and then there they are. So
well, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Just basic question. In regards to when online folks are giving a presentation or give a speech, how do they usually do that? Or the majority of people, do they just sit in front of the computer? Or if you have a speech where you're animated and you need to move around, how do people that don't have the technology and just a laptop deal with that in order to get their speech across?
Thank you. Well, normally people just sit down, but as you see, I just stood up right now. And I recently gave a speech. Dawn, were you there at the speech when I did the body language? One of the projects in Pathways is the body language. So of course I wanted to stand up. So right now I'm standing up already. The challenge is I am in my bedroom, so I can't move backwards because that's my bed already. But if you know that you'll be delivering and you want to have more space, then it's a simple matter of just standing up. Usually these things have fairly long cords. So if it wasn't for my bed, in fact, I could just climb up on my bed, see? Then, see, now I'm on stage and I can be bouncing around. So yeah, and my voice hasn't changed because I have this is really long. See how long it is? And I have no business with Logitech, but I just wanted to demonstrate. I hope I don't fall off the bed on the other side. But see, this is pretty long. So I can go back like maybe 10 feet, just watching that I don't fall off my bed. And so you can do all the gestures, you can even show dancing and all that. So usually what we do, if we have projects, and some of the Pathways projects are really cool, like the body language, then we can stand up. Generally, if it's more of the vocal variety or any of the other projects, we normally sit down. If it's a contest, we stand up. We have online contests just for fun. It's not official, but we do have online contests.
Michelle, time check. It's 8 o'clock.
Oh gosh, yes. Oh wow. Okay, I know we'll have to end. I love this, and I'm really hoping. Let me put my email address on the chat for everybody. And I will also post it on the District 7 Facebook page. You can email me. In fact, I wanted to share, and this is just these are online resources. When I share them, oops, sorry, I forgot to share the screen. Sometimes we forget to do the basic things. So share screen. Okay. I wanted to share some of these online resources. They will be in the slides that I will give out. There's so many online resources. And as far as contacting me, you can always contact me through, oh, don't mind that phone is not, that's in the Philippines, so that's not working. But Facebook is the easiest thing. You can contact me there, or my email address, which I have provided. So thank you so much, everyone. I really hope that you gained something. If only that you gained confidence in having online attendance, I'm done. I'm happy. If you learned even more than that, then I'm even happier. But this is an ongoing journey. And myself, Brian, who's also a very, very proficient with online attendance, will be very happy to help. So just email me or message me on Facebook. So thank you so much to our program quality director. Oh, how sweet. Look at that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
That's nice.
Thank you very much, Evelyn.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Michelle. This was a wonderful webinar. Thank you so much for the information.
Oh, that is so cute. There's so many cards. Okay, so I will stop the recording now. Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay.
It was awesome. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Okay.